find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle of trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome into Furniss Fast Lane. Facts, not feelings, Furniss Fast Lane. And I am so incredibly excited to have Damian with us to go over and review the episode that just dropped. And man, Damian, we are just getting all kinds of comments rolling in here. So well, apparently we've got two different things. That's the joys of going live. You have things that happen here. Let's go through some of these comments. People are super, super stoked to have you on the show today. And quite honestly, they should be quite stoked. We've got all sorts. We got Russell. It was on Wednesday, Larry Feldman has a great show, Lethal Cells. And I was planning to be there. Fortunately, I broke my foot and Wednesday I was down for the count pretty hardcore. So I was unable to join on Wednesday, but I heard it was awesome. We were just getting a lot of comments about that. We've got, oh my goodness, I'm going to try to get all these to everyone here. So stay with me for one hot second, and then we're going to jump in because I've got the one and only Damian with me here. So we've got Russell saying it was awesome, and Peter will be a regular for the most part. That's talk about the Wednesday show. And Brian Ortega, it is on. And anytime Brian jumps in here, and at some point we're going to have Jordan Cox, the comments go all kinds of, the show goes off the rails, and it's great. And then we have Russell saying hello to both of us. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Brian saying the one and only Damian. Yes. And what we were talking about before, Damian, not freaking great shirt. Let's just talk about the shirt for a hot second. I know we're going to talk about the show, but tell the audience, we were saying how awesome your shirt. I'm like, man, first thing I noticed, like, man, that's a stellar shirt. Talk to us about the shirt for a hot second here.
Speak softly and wear a loud shirt is an old Hawaiian saying based on aloha shirts. I was exposed in India to very beautiful fabrics when we would go there for my sister is the Miracle Foundation, which is she's the universal mother for orphans in the world. Oh, she is a genuine badass. And I would go to India and go to all these orphanages, and we would go to these little villages, and I would run across these fabric stores because they made everything. And I just love fabrics. I grew up sewing with my grandmother. I would go in there, and it was like I was in a candy store. And over the years, I just started, so I'm just going to start designing and making my own shirts. And so I found a store in Thailand that's literally 5 floors of fabrics. And I go touch every fabric and I start creating. And so the shirts y'all see me wear, all of these shirts I built with my, I have a tailor, and we decide hidden buttons or Asian collars or triples, the type of stitching. And yeah, thanks for the compliments on the shirt. I love them.
It's amazing. And as we were talking, I was looking at the time, like, oh, we got to start the show. And I was thinking, you can have your own line of clothing at this point because the shirts are awesome. You're on point with all this. You've been doing this long enough. Like, that just got like another revenue stream. Like, you could do this, or there's so many ways you can take. I did, and obviously in the chats here, we got all sorts of people saying that people are loving it right now. So I absolutely love this right now. So cool. All right, so let's jump into the meat of this. the episode just dropped yesterday, and holy shnikes, there was so many takeaways. And I honestly lost count of the number of times that I went back and listened to this, watched it, because there are so many amazing takeaways. And if I start to try to narrow this down, I was like, okay, is it more the authentic part being authentic to you, or is the why going to be the first thing I talk about? I go, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to hand the floor to Damian, let him do his thing. So I'm just handing the floor over to you, Damian. I'm going to let you run with it.
Yeah, keep it simple. Keep it simple. The first thing to happiness and success is to get good at being you, being okay with your reflection in the mirror and how your soul is. And there's several ways you can look at that. You can look at it extrinsically. Extrinsically is what shirt you wear, what car you drive, what house you have, what your family looks like. And the second way is intrinsically. Who are you in your spirit and your heart and your soul? And do you, how do you look in the mirror at yourself? So the first thing is just get good at being you. Just be aware of you. Once you become really aware of you and are have the humility to be okay with that, because a lot of people get to be aware of themselves and they become narcissists, become aware of yourself, have humility in that awareness, and understand that the way you are is just the way you are. And then you can start to see others. So get good at being you so you can love and care for others. And the big part of that is accept others for where they are. People aren't wrong or bad or dumb or stupid or evil for having a belief system that's opposite or contrarian to you. They are where they are. They need to be there in their growth. And they're there because of their journey, right? Their childhood experiences, their way they grew up, the culture they're in, right? So understanding yourself and being okay with you is part of this journey. And then you can just take care of others and love them. And that's how simple life is. We make it so complicated. We overthink everything. And if everybody would just take a breath, slow down, and realize that on this journey, there's someone I heard say one thing, there's 5,000 weeks on this journey called life, right? If you're going to live to 90, it's 5,000 weeks, something like that, right? Now, I'm 60, so I'm down to about 2,200 weeks left. Well, that's plenty of time to accomplish things. We don't have to accomplish things in 30 days. It doesn't live in 30-day increments. Every moment is important. So just be in the moment. Just love others, right?
Amen. That encapsulates everything right there. I mean, there were so many things that we discussed, but right there, if you don't know who you are, take the time to figure it out and understand that you are a whole person, and then go up from there. And don't try to be somewhere else. I mean, we related this back to, and the first day on the job, the salesperson does a great job a lot of times. And then you're like, okay, all right, so you need to do this, and you do this, and all these constrictions that we put around the salesperson or whatever employee at the dealership. And all of a sudden, a lot of times you see this downward trajectory. You're like, oh, well, what happened? Let's not let them be themselves. And I loved how you went about just discussing some of that. And even down to one of the things that really struck a chord with me. I had never heard anybody say this. And if there's someone out there that said this, kudos to you. I have not been exposed to you, is finding the customer's why. And so often it's, okay, find the employees why, or find, your own why. But when you really stop to think about what is the customer's why. And I loved how you talked about that. That one really, really struck a chord with me. We've got Peter saying things radiate outward. Character comes from the core. Amen to that one, Peter. And Brian is, imagine having to follow this guy. Yeah. Well, Brian, luckily your episode doesn't go for a while, so you're okay. We've got Russell saying one day at a time. That's all we have. Russell also stay in your lane and run your own race. And Russell, to your point there, I'm sure everyone has seen the photo, and I think it's a Michael Phelps, and I can't remember who's swimming next to him. And I hope it's Michael Phelps. I'm not screwing up the name right now, but he's facing forward as he's swimming, and the other person's looking back like that. And it's like he ends up losing the race, but it's like, focus on what's on front of you. Don't be looking back. Look what's in front of you. It's a rear mirror. Don't just look forward on that. got some more comments coming in here. Peter saying we need to drop the 30-day mindset. Look long-term. Everything will fall into place. Jamie, hey, Jamie, we need to stop apologizing for being who we are because someone else does not see it and agree with who and how you are. Amen to that one, Jamie. That is I'm unapologetic. Yes, you are, Jamie. And I love that about you. You very much are. And too often we get in this mindset. I started this, I want to say it was last year that I started, it might have been this year, that I started just different words that I'm striking from my vocabulary. And one of those is, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry for what? Stop apologizing, Brooke. You didn't do anything wrong. Or especially as women, there's a lot of phrases we say a lot of times, and we say it, and all it does is diminish who we are. So stop saying those damn phrases. So I love what you're saying there. And then Jeff is Taco. Thank you for that, Jeff, by the way. Way to make it a little bit funner here. Taco Cat. And yes, happy birthday to you, Jeff. So let's go a little bit on the why part. If you want to expand on that a little bit of just like finding the employee's why. One, obviously, no, you're a why, but at the employee why, just because that to me just struck it hit so hard, so home to me on that one.
Yeah. I guess I could go philosophical if you want and look at it. If we were to look at how to have everything we want in life, there is a manifestation formula that has been around forever. It's been, pre BC, it's in the AD, right? I mean, BC. And it's a very simple formula. And what happens in our society is we look at, this is what I want to have, right? This is what I want to have, right? So how do I get that? Well, this is what I must do, right? And all of a sudden they're figuring out that what they need to do doesn't work, doesn't fit right, doesn't feel good. Well, I still need to do that because I want to have. The manifestation formula doesn't go have, do, and then be. It goes see, then be, then do, then you have. The seeing is your why. And the way you see is by asking the question, what do I want? What else do I want? You've heard me say it's all about the PP. What are your problems? What are your possibilities? What are the things you're moving away from? What are the things you're moving toward? And as you look at those from different sets of goggles and mirrors and magnifying glass, when you look at it from a 60-day perspective, it looks different than a 1-year perspective. And that looks totally different than from the 5 years perspective. But all of them are needed to give you that clarity of vision of what do I see so I can discover my why. Once you figure out my why, you have to understand that you're not unique in the universe. Everybody is the same in so many ways. The people that you're working with have a why. The children that you have their own unique why. Your grandchildren have their why. Your customers have their unique why. Your significant other has their why. If you don't understand what they want and what they don't want, so you can understand what their why is, you'll never be able to help people in a way that is in integrity. And the way you help people in integrity is you move to the second manifestation step, which is your being. And your being isn't, how do I want to look to everybody? Your being is, who am I at my best intrinsically? I'm thoughtful, I'm caring, I'm kind, I'm sweet, I'm harmonious, I'm tranquil, I'm understanding, I'm interesting, I'm entertaining, I'm loving, I'm caring. All of these are intrinsically things. You don't need to learn them. They're already inside of you when you look inside of you. You can focus on the negative ones. I am dumb, I am stupid, I am fat, I am poor, I am ugly. Everybody's got bad credit. F and I can't get shit approved. You can look at all of those too, but those don't serve you at your best. What serves you at your best so you can accomplish what you see? And what new people do the first 90 days they're in the business, they see what they want and they be who they are. And that's how come they sell so many and make it look easy. They know nothing about what to do. And then we tell them what to do, and we don't show them how to do it in a way that works for them or helps them get to their why. And so if we could go this way rather than here's what you want to have, here's what you have to do, and it doesn't fit who I am, I quit. This doesn't work for me. I'm fired. 30 days later, this ain't, 90 days in, they sell everybody. What they know about the car business, you can put in a thimble. A thimble's a little thing you put on your finger to sew, by the way, just so you know.
I got you.
You put it in a shot glass. More people.
I don't have a shot glass right now, but I do know what a thimble is. I actually did quilt a quilt. I think that's it. Yeah. I did make a quilt when I was younger, so I do know what a thimble is.
Right. So you have this ability to understand, and your job is why. Why are you here? What do you want? Where are you going? What is your clear, compelling reason to make you, I got this? It could be extrinsically driven, a house. It could be intrinsically driven. My mission is to serve others, right? And whatever it is, it's perfect, but it's yours.
Amen.
Right? And so that is the key. And then to be who you are at your best. And then when you decide how to do things, you say how, and this is the rules of engagement, if you will. How do I do this in a way that works for who I am at my best and accomplishes my goal of going to where I want to go and why, right? So the rules of engagement for your business is, how do I get this to work for me? How do I get it to work for my customer so it fits their vision of their why? And then finally, how do I do it in a way that's in integrity and 100% honest so I can be authentic, right?
Amen. And Peter, to your thing right there, here you go, buddy. Yeah, there you go. It is football weekend. So yes, there's definitely going to be Tito's, I'm sure. So Peter says the Tito's already in the cup, right, Brooke? No shot glass in it. That's probably, that's very true.
Beverage is one of the biggest donors to my sister's Miracle Foundation.
Tito's is?
One of the first ones a long time ago.
Another reason why I love them, Damian.
He was an early adopter with her, and now he's one of the largest. And I'm telling you, she's got people like the Rockefeller Foundation and UNICEF, and Tito Beveridge is just the most incredible human and has been, and his whole team, right? The whole foundation team around them. So everybody drink Tito's.
I appreciate that. And I will say whoever does their marketing does a phenomenal job. I have seen so many of their because yes, we drink like High Noon, which is not a seltzer, but it's vodka and soda. And Tito's did a whole marketing thing. It was like, it's just a can. It's nothing else. I was like, this is the most brilliant marketing. And so the marketing they do is just, it's so, whoever's on it, like they honestly need a raise. They're so great. I do want to go back to, and this is not something we talked about, but I was listening to you on Frank's show and about the foundation and about your writing children's books. I did not know that about you. And just the story behind that and I'm going to say the incredibleness behind it. And that's it. I don't know. It was a very touching, I don't want to say story, but just the whole, everything behind it.
Yes. So the ability it's easier for me to build a kid than to fix an adult. Kids are not broken. They just need a foundation to grow. So my program of I am, you are, we can, I started back in 2011, and I started working with kids in schools, right? Elementary schools. Like I was just at a high school 2 days ago where I spoke to the football team, and then, the volleyball coach, just called me and said, "Can you do my girls too?" And I'll come over there and do that, right? But the goal is, if you can get kids to see their why, what do they want and what don't they want? And then you say, who are you at your best? And I use selling to do it. I use contrast selling. I ask them to take their shoes off and put them on the wrong feet. How does that look? How does that feel? Looks bad, feels bad. What if it was a really expensive pair of shoes? Still looks bad, still feels bad. You want to know why? Because it's not what's on the outside that matters. It's what's on the
inside.
And that's what they say. And I say, now put your shoes on the right feet. And they put their shoes on the right feet. How does that look? How does that feel? And then I tell them one of the stupidest things about adults is no one's ever taught them how to put their life on the right feet. So every morning they wake up and they put their life on the wrong feet. And that's why they're angry and broke and poor and miserable and yell at the car next to them and complain about everything. Is because nobody showed them that their life is theirs. And they are not a victim of a third person. They have to start their life. And so I ask the kids, how many of y'all want to learn how to put your life on the right foot? And then I do this exercise that many of y'all have heard about forever. I ask you to simply write 60 positive characteristics of who you are at your best, adjectives only. I don't have to tell fifth graders what an adjective is, but adults need to know. Class, adjective is a describing word. And if you put an or a the in front of right after I am the next word's a noun, and that shit ain't gonna work.
Go back to school, please.
They write these words, and managers understand people protect what they create. If you build something, you keep it. It can't be taken from you. So when you tell me how to do your stuff for your benefit, for your customers, I may or may not learn that. But if you show me how to build it in a way that works for your customers, your dealership, and our business, I'll remember it forever. So getting kids to create their own identity means you can't take it from them. They own it. One of the books is an elementary school book that's a curriculum, and the other one I wrote for terminally ill kids who were in the hospital, and they had more hope than everybody. But nobody showed them how to translate that hope to intrinsically, this is who I am before I go into surgery. This is who I am after I come out of surgery. This is who I am before I walk in the hospital. This is who I am whenever I initially get the diagnostic. So that book is called The Magic List. And all of these books, these two books, The Club and The Magic List, you can go get them on Amazon, were written because I had a daughter who was critically disabled. And if I was better, I would have been able to give her this. And because I wasn't evolved to the level I am now, I wasn't able to share with her those things. We were just mired in the muck of chaos and confusion and trauma and in a fog, right? And so both of those books I love. They're all over the world. They're actually given to kids in Thailand at Bumrungrad International Hospital. They rewrote it for them. Little Thai kids in there, and the names are changed. They kept Andy because Andy is my daughter, who is the heroine of the book, right? Of the books, right? She's a little girl in a wheelchair, and she wears a hat because she ain't got no hair, and then she flip her hat back.
Love it. It's my type of girl. My type of girl.
Yeah, she's a little badass. And
of course.
Her job is to say, "Hey, you. This is who you are."
We've got a question coming in from Russell. It says, Damian, do you have a moment where you realized that it was time to own your stuff and then to learn to change your belief system? I guess what I mean is there a defining moment you would like to share that starts your quest or transformation? Good question, Russell.
Yeah. I call it the magical misery tour. And there was a time in my life when my daughter was still alive that my future ex at the time, wanted a divorce. And we separated, and I had temporary custody of the kids. And one weekend, it was her weekend, and she kidnapped the kids, right? And so I lost my kids. I lost my daughter. I lost my wife. And I'm in a little apartment, and my lights get shut off, and I'm broke. And I'm in the bathtub and I'm just crying. There's a little tea light to light the room up on the toilet. And I'm crying and I'm just, you can't imagine the abyss, the level of despair. And I'm hitting the thing and you're nothing, you are nothing, you're fucking nothing, you ain't shit, you just lost everything. And I'm crying and I'm going, you ain't nothing. And at some point I just go, you ain't nothing but a naked Cajun in a bathtub. This better be enough, God, because this is all I got. And it was like in that moment, and I stood up. I don't even remember standing up. I stood up and it was like, fuck it, I ain't got nothing else. Yeah. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. And so people hear me say that sometimes and they go, look, I'm nothing, which is the fourth dimension, right? The third dimension is I am all this stuff. And then the fourth dimension is nothing, right? I'm nothing. I'm nowhere. So I'm in this fourth dimension of nothingness. And when you are nothing and have nothing and need nothing, you're the richest person in the world.
Yes, you are.
How you gonna hurt me? What can you take from me? I done lost everything, right? And when life unwittingly, Russell, drags you through the deepest, darkest bowels of hell, and you come out on the other side and you go, I'm still here. Many people say that is where you get growth, and it is not. Where you get growth, Russell, is by turning around, crawling back into the abyss, crawling back into the hell, and revisiting and moving things around and looking in the mud for what you might have missed. If it was all my fault, what else could I have done? What else could I have learned? What else should I have done? How else might I have done that? And you start asking these questions, and you get that mud all over you. There is so much gold, so much so many riches, so much knowledge in the abyss that when you come out, you can now say, and what did that mean? And what did I learn? And how do I live what I learned? And then, and this is to y'all's benefit, how do I teach it?
Yes.
How do I share it? How do I help that person who's in the abyss? And the abyss is good. There's blessings in every curse, Russell. There's in every shitty thing that this will never happen again. On the other side, at some point, it might be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years. Man, that was much as it sucked. That saved my life. That helped me make money. That helped me be a better dad. That helped me be a better human. And so that is my moment. There are many other moments, right? They're good moments or bad moments, but I am nothing. I am nothing. And that is more than enough. So when you hear me speak, I promise you, it's coming from a place of, I ain't that important. In the whole scheme of things, I'm just what did Mother Teresa say? I'm just a drop of rain in the ocean. And then she said, but if I don't drop in the ocean's gonna miss me. But still, in the whole scheme of things, I'm really tiny. I don't have to be impressive. I just have to be Damian, right?
Everyone else is taken. And to Jamie's point, she goes, I think we redefine what rich means outside of money. It's profound. Russell is saying, you're an amazing guy. Thank you. And Russell, I will applaud that to the nth degree. That Damon and you and I we kind of knew each other on social a little bit, but until we actually spoke to exactly what you're talking, no one has a perfect childhood. If you do, go back and look at your childhood. You don't have a perfect childhood. And as you were going through and just talking about things, and you said those words to me, like, Brooke, you probably need to go back into that abyss. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. And I was so scared to do that. And it wasn't until I actually went back there and I actually was sitting in this chair. I was facing right here on the phone with you. And that moment of like, holy shit, that's where I got my voice. Now, did all that stuff suck? Yeah, it sucked. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But because of what happened in my childhood made me who I am today. But was talking to you and like seeing it from another, talking about the glasses into the lens by which people perceive things. That's a reality. It wasn't until then that I was like, oh my, all these years on the earth, and I didn't even see it that way. You think you dealt with it. You had did your counseling, you did your all that. And it wasn't until that moment of talking to you that it wasn't like I was necessarily scared to go back there. I was just like, I'm done with it. I want to go back there. And it was like, Brooke, go back into that. You gotta deal with your shit. And for that, I am forever grateful, because it's so often as we just brush by it and then take it out on someone else or whatever it may be. And really just having someone that you can have those hard conversations with, to be like, hey, you might want to take another look at that. And we've got some other, with Peter saying here, we are a grain of sand on the beach. Without us, we cannot protect the land. Thank you for sharing, Damian. So anytime I talk to you, anytime at all, it's to say profound, I might come across as cliche, and I don't mean it that way at all. It is just, you are so open to not only hearing the person, but really hearing their intentions and their soul of what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And it's a lot of times that's difficult as a receiver, but you actually do need to hear that. And then acting on that as the receiver, to act on that, because your whole life can change instantly, man, instantly. Yeah. Deep stuff today, Damian, as always. Always deep stuff. Anything else you want to share with the audience? Floor is yours.
Yeah. A lot of times those places in your past that you fail to, that you are uncomfortable with revisiting or have forgotten about, are a lot of times what's holding you back now. The choice you made at 18 to say, this will never happen again, therefore I am going to do blank. That was a great decision for the 12-year-old, the 18-year-old, the 22-year-old, the 32-year-old. And then as you get older, you have to evolve, because that same decision becomes the stifle, the roadblock to your next level. And it was something good to hold on to back at 18. But at 28, it's a glass ceiling. And it's an invisible one, right? We don't even realize we're doing it. And part of helping people is being able to help them realize that the demon they fear from their past is the greatest angel of their future. And it's them. It's not about the person who did the dastardly deed, who harmed you. It's not about the trauma. It's about you and your perception of the trauma, right? So my parents were awful. They beat me and they yelled at me, and I wasn't able to play sports because my dad was so overbearing that if I dropped the ball, I'd be miserable. And so they blame their parents for treating them badly. And they forsake the fact that that same parent taught them, I will never do that to my child. I will be there for their football game. I will listen to them when they can't read. I will understand that it might be deeper than the fact that they're not understanding, right? And I'll be patient. So who taught you how to be patient? Who taught you how to go to the football game? Who taught you how to be the parent? The parent who wasn't what you wanted created the parent that you are. And at some point, you got to thank them. They might have not taught you the right way, but they taught you. And your learning from that is the gift they gave you. So blame effectively. Blame realistically. because we all have demons. We all have trauma. We all have sins. Those things have caused fear and sadness and resentment and regret and destroyed our life. Or maybe not. Maybe they've enhanced your life and you're just not open to saying, and because of that, I'm better. But most of you, if you look back, will say, and because of that, I'm better. Mm-hmm. And now it removes all the knife wounds from the trauma that you once held in contempt and now held in esteem, right? Just perspective.
Yes. Yes. So often I'll have conversations with friends of same, whether it's a relationship or could have been a place where they worked, whatever it may be. Oh, it was the worst experience of my life. I hated it. I go, okay, I've definitely been in those situations as well. But what I can tell you is that I learned so much from X, Y, whatever the situation is, whether it's a relationship, business, whatever. I go, not that I necessarily go back and work at that place again, but without that place, I don't learn what I learned. I don't have those connections. I don't have and become the person I am. The same thing in a relationship. Yeah, it may have been a really abusive relationship. And knowing that, you got out and you learned, one, not what to have, but hopefully you also learned how to stand up for yourself and all the other things. And that at some point you can look back, and to your point, Damian, is you look back and say, one, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to get in that relationship again. I'm never going to do this again. And you learn from that. And that's the biggest thing, is that you can go back and look and say, and as painful it is to say to the person that, or whomever that did the deed that did you dirty, it is difficult to forgive, especially in certain circumstances. It's incredibly difficult to forgive and really truly mean it. Like there's a whole other thing like, oh, I just forgive them. No, but do you truly to forgive them? To do that and then to learn from it. And it's, yeah, I felt we could go on for hours about this.
Yeah, see it.
Awesome. Okay, so switch of gears here. So you're the founder of Auto Trading Academy. Tell the audience a little bit about what you do.
I help salespeople. I help dealerships. I help people make this business a career by allowing them to know that they evolve and they should be curious about learning about themselves and about their customers. And whatever area in the business your expertise is, there's a place for you in our industry. If you're a detail person, run a dealership. If you're a retail person, make more money and sell cars and have a better life, right? But anything's possible in this business. I mean, you look at the number of people who I often talk about it, a friend of mine's family, because the Gilman Automotive Group, right, is an incredibly successful organization in the state of Texas, right? I worked there. It was the number one GMC store in the country when I worked there in the 80s. And that family was started by a man named Frank Gilman, who started his career as a parts picker in the parts department. And there's so many stories of the person who got in to sweep the floor, to wash the car, to be a porter, who are now running dealerships. And it's a gold mine. It's an incredible opportunity to really evolve yourself on a regular basis. The money is fabulous. The opportunities are incredible. The growth is absolutely, personally, if you're in the right place and you're constantly wanting to grow, you can do it. There is so much opportunity in this business, and you got to wake up from your coma and just quit waiting on the next up, right? You need to look at it for what it is. So that's what I do. I help people see it for what it is for them, because everybody's different, right? Every dealership is different. You know, I can walk into my friends' 4 dealerships, and they're literally not a mile apart from each other. And every one of his dealerships has a different personality, a different energy, a different feeling, a different structure, a different culture. And you can't treat everybody the same. You have to treat them all different.
You can't, and it's and I loved how you said what you're talking about here. You'd mentioned in our show about stop selling, start serving, and all that goes back to: are you actually listening to whether it's being authentic to you, knowing your why, knowing the customer's why, and going in just because you greet someone, what are you doing once you greet them? Are you just saying, oh, that's a dollar bill to me, or are you actually serving that customer and finding out those details? And I loved how you talked about that. So
Yesterday I had a call from one of my 50 car people, right? And his name's Gary. Gary says, I've been 4 days. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let me go over what's happening. Let me go over my deals. And then I said, oh, I know what's going wrong. He said, well, you hadn't heard what I've been doing. I said, no, I know exactly what's going on. You're trying to sell a car, right? He said, yeah. That's what you're doing wrong. That's what you're doing. Yep. Here's what I want you to do. And this was yesterday. This was day before yesterday. So yesterday was the day he implemented, right? I said, Gary, come to work tomorrow. Do not sell a damn car. Do not. I want you to talk to people. I want you to give your friends hugs. I want you to love on them. I want you to give them everything they want. And I don't want you to sell. I want you to try to go all day tomorrow without selling one car. And he starts laughing. He goes, you're joking, right? I said, I'm telling you the damn truth. Now, if you screw up and sell one, I am not going to judge you harshly. But do not sell a car. If you tell his general manager, Jonathan, you tell Jonathan, I said, if you sell a car, I'm going to be pissed. So you know tomorrow. So yesterday he sold 5 cars.
Funny how that works.
About 9:30, he goes, man, that's genius. That's genius. I'm telling you, I didn't have I said, look, dude, you don't sell cars because you want to sell cars. You sell cars because you want to help people buy cars. And when you're out of the way, they can do what they want for them. So he sold 5 cars. Why? Because he wasn't trying to sell a car. He was trying to figure out their why, and then he was trying to be himself, and then he was trying to do what it takes to solve all the problems and the possibilities so they could accomplish their why. That's all he tried to do, time after time after time after time. And he screwed up 5 times. He was only successful once. He only had one person not buy from him. It was disgusting. Talk about a failure. He goes 5 days without selling.
And 5 one day. I like those odds.
Yeah, but that's possible with everybody. It's possible with everybody. We put so much emphasis and so much pressure on ourselves that we make it all about ourselves. And the gift is in the other.
Yeah. Right? Amen to that. Amen to that. Damian, this has always just been another incredible time speaking with you. So just thank you so much. Everyone, you've seen his link, his personalized link up there quite a few times. It's in the notes at this point. It's in the comments at this point. Connect with this man. He is brilliant.
Give him my phone number.
Give it away halfway. It's in the link. It's in the personalized link. But go ahead, have at it.
615-584-8178. No, that's my personal number, so don't expect Auto Training Academy. I don't even know how to answer that phone.
Where's Star? Come on.
Send me a text because I get a lot of calls. Now, I'm on the phone a lot, so there's a huge possibility I won't remember who you are. But that is not a personal thing. That's a busy thing, right?
That's okay. Yeah. So, and inside that personalized link, it's like I said, we've thrown up there quite a few times in the comments. That will actually go to it as well. In there, pull it up. It's going to pull up all the ways to contact him, get in touch with Auto Training Academy, and has his number, which goes into WhatsApp. So whether you're watching this internationally or nationally, you can connect with him there. So many ways to get in touch with this gentleman. He is. Honestly, you are, as I've told you multiple times, you're one of the good ones, and we are all just here to bask in your glory. So grateful for you and everything that you continually do, and for what you do for the industry as well. Like, Yes, the industry is awesome and better because you're in it. The world is better because you're in it, and just cannot thank you enough for it. So thank you very, very much. Sincerely appreciate it. And with that, everyone, find a way to serve today. Find a way to help, whether it's your fellow coworker, whether it is your neighbor. It can be a kind smile. It can be opening a door for someone. Just find a way to serve today. Please find a way to serve today. And with that, everyone, we'll see everybody next week.